But before we do our bench press, which is our main lift of the day, we are going to pre-fatigue the motherfucker. What's up everyone, Jason here for our third episode of Programming Reviews, where we review some big names in fitness. Today we are reviewing Nick Bare's Hybrid 1.0 program, and we're gonna start right now. All right guys, so let's dive right into this. This is day one of the 1.0 program, which I would assume is for people that are new coming into his pipeline. I've looked at the week to get kind of a feel. I haven't looked at all the exercises, but I've looked at to see that there are 7 days of training here, which first glance is good that they have 7 days of options because that gives people some freedom. But I will say that I don't know many people that can train multiple times a day and have 2+ hours per day to devote to their training. And that's my experience of 2 decades working with thousands of people. I've not met many people. I've met a few people over the course of my career that have the ability to train 2+ hours, again, multiple sessions per day, which this is how this training is set up. We've got the first session consists of your running, your cyclical work, and then your second session consists of your strength work. This is a push-pull lower body split, and in my mind is a mismatch when we're trying to do training concurrently because there is a ton of fatigue that sets in. There's a lot of muscle damage when we crush one aspect of the body, and this is what's happening in this program. We are crushing one aspect of the body. So I just want you to try this on for size. The main lift of the day is the barbell bench press. We have essentially sets at 65%, 75, and 85. But before we do our bench press, which is our main lift of the day, we are going to pre-fatigue the motherfuck out of your core. We're gonna do 60 hanging leg raises. That wasn't enough. We're gonna do 60 GHD sit-ups, decline GHD sit-ups, which maybe they're setting the GHD up in a decline, which would be just add insult to injury. And then we're gonna culminate that with 3 minutes of plank work. Imagine doing that before you did a big lift. And he does this on multiple days. So imagine going into your heavy squat, your heavy deadlift, or your heavy bench press, having done that much core work. Tell me how that would work in the comments. As you can imagine, I don't agree with that. I think that's silly. We can certainly do some things to get ready for what we're doing, but why not get ready for what we're doing by doing what we're doing? I know it sounds novel, right? Why don't we warm up our bench press? I actually like the fact that he has sets of 65, sets of 75, and then he does 2 sets at 85%. I think that is pretty solid. I think the rest intervals are not high enough for 85% sets. He's got 2 minutes rest. I would likely bump that up to 3 minutes. And then we're ending the day with 4 minutes of AMRAP push-ups, so as many reps as possible, and then a superset, an agonist superset, which is essentially working the same aspect of the body in one superset, which is a strategy you can certainly use to spike some new gains, but it's not something that is needed on this day because we've already trashed all of the pressing patterns here. So we've got body weight dips and then tricep extension, and then we're ending with a Svend press, which I'm not familiar with, so I can't really comment on. But overall, aside from the bench press, we've got, 10 exercises? So we've got 7 exercises, not including the work that you've already done in the morning. So that's day 1. Let's go to day 2. This is actually a really cool app. I like how this is set up. I think this is great. It's a great app. It's very interactive. So day 2 consists of kind of the same setup. We have deadlifts as the main lift today, 65, 75, 85%. We're gonna just crush your core to start the day with more hanging leg raises, 60 total reps of power press, which is weight. Power press, you can do those for sets of 8 to 10 and get more than enough from those. And then a Superman hold for sets of 12 with 3-second holds. And then we go into our deadlifts as our main lift. Pull-ups, 4 minutes of pull-ups, 3 sets of 12 barbell row, another agonist superset of preacher curl and hammer curl, and then we end with some farmer carries. So just an onslaught of volume. If we just put this on for size, let's just say we did deadlifts. We did 3 sets of 5 at 85% was our main lift of the day. And we did warm up to get prepared for that. And I don't see any warm up here, any warm ups or cool downs here, which again, we could get prepared to get people in a good position. So let's just say our main lift was deadlifts, 3 sets of 5 at 85%. And then exercise 2 is our pull up. And let's say we did 4 sets of six reps. So 24 total reps. And maybe if you're advanced, you can load those. And then we ended with we did our barbell row, and then no superset. We just did some direct arm work. We did preacher curls and then a farmer carry. To me, that's far too much gripping, but it improves this session significantly. So again, I would say this session to me is just overkill on many levels, and take it for what it is. Let's look at session number 3, which is lower body strength. So keep in mind, we just did heavy deadlifts. Now we're gonna do some lower body work. He's got our running session in the morning, and then single leg deadlift, leg extensions, barbell squat following the same sequence, 65, 75, and 85, walking lunge, and hip thrust. I would say there's not a ton wrong with this session other than the fact I like actually that he's using the stiff leg deadlift and leg extensions. Probably more is just to get prepared, but in my mind, you can do a lot less to get prepared. And as I said, I think warming up the movement, the main lift, as your warm up makes a ton of sense. And again, to me, you don't need to do all this activation, if you will. A lot of that is just complete bullshit. So needless to say, another session where we're crushing the lower body. We did heavy deadlifts on the day before, a ton of proper pulling volume. And by this point, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling already pretty tired just seeing this. Let's look at day 4, which is a mobility day. So we don't really need to delve into this too much, but most of this stuff for me is just kind of filler and kind of bullshit. I wouldn't prescribe static stretching and foam rolling. I think that there are other things that we could do, like some easy aerobic work, some flow-based work. And again, I'm glad that that is at least there, but take it for what it is. Foam rolling is one of those things that does have some benefits, but as far as improving tissue quality, not going to happen. So let's look at our next day, which is another day that is starting with just an exorbitant amount of core work, decline sit-ups again for 80 total reps. Plank, it's actually the same sequence that we did on day 1, but it's in a reverse order. So the plank is in the middle this time versus at the end. So we are going into pull-ups, push-ups, superset, lat pull down, incline bench, barbell overhead press, handstand push-up, lateral raise complex, and that's the session for the day. So again, I don't know if I have to really say a whole lot other than we are smashing people with this program. Absolutely smashing people. And we can do a lot better with a lot less. We do not need everything that's here to get people more fit. If you want to smash yourself, completely smash yourself, this is definitely a good way to do it. So let's go to the next day. All right, so that was day 5. We got another dedicated mobility day, which again, good recovery day. And they are doing cyclical work basically every day, which I would say, for most people that are trying to get in that much running, just the everyday athlete, it's a lot of running volume for most people. Unless you are a runner and you're used to that much volume in a week, that's going to put you in a position where there will be some delayed onset muscle soreness, so you just can't avoid it. Now, if you want to train the aerobic system, you can do so with a combination of cyclical, like running, biking, rowing, and get the same training effect. However, not have the same amount of tissue breakdown that you would have. Okay, so dedicated mobility day. And then our last day of the week is a lower body hypertrophy day with some arms. Lower body and arms hypertrophy. So we've got running 8 miles for that day. Walking barbell lunge, 4 sets of 16. Dumbbell front squat, 4 sets of 12. Dumbbell single leg stiff leg deadlift. We did that already. We did have hip thrusters already. Another superset of essentially bis and tris, and then another superset of tris on tris. Again, just an exorbitant amount of volume. If I was to set this up and say, just for general fitness and say, hey, you want to look good, feel good, get stronger, I would do 3 full body sessions and I would do 3 aerobic sessions and then 1 day of lead rest, or maybe just getting your steps in. And that will accomplish a lot with 9 out of 10 people. Now, what is a full body day? It consists of doing a squat, a hinge, a push, and a pull. 1 exercise for each. The squat can be interchanged with a single leg. So if you had 3 days that consisted of those 4 patterns, and then maybe you include some core work, and some core work being anti-extension, anti-rotation, anti-lateral flexion, you could use one of those emphasis at the end of each day. And then on your conditioning days, you have cyclical work in conjunction with things like some loaded carries, some body work, kind of more mixed modality style work where we're doing 30 to 40 minutes at a steady state. That's going to allow you to bridge the gap between those sessions, but also build the aerobic system and not have it interfere with your strength and hypertrophy gains. So that's how I would do it, and that's what I would recommend for most people. Most people that come from CrossFit that train with me, that's the type of training we use. Now, we do use a conjugate style of that, which is more strength biased, but overall, my grade on this program is an absolute fail. This is going to crush people, and of course, people are going to do this. They're going to think it's great because they're going to get absolutely smoked. They're going to be sore for weeks, and that's how unfortunately, a lot of people judge the effectiveness of a good program is how hard it is. And we know that too much soreness, too much fatigue will take away from what you're trying to do. You can do 60-minute sessions 3 to 4 times a week and get more from that than you can from this, where you're training 7 days a week. So hope you guys enjoyed this review today. We're going to be doing a lot more of these, calling more of this stuff out so we can bring some more awareness to people so they can start training smarter. It's like your job. If you could make more money and work less hours, would you? I don't know anyone that would answer no to that. This is the same thing. This is asking you to work more hours, but not necessarily make more money. So put that to thought. Drop your comments in. I would love to hear from you guys, and see you on the next review.
Best program available on the internet today.
I think it's very difficult to find a trainer like Jason that...
Since joining Everyday Heroes, I feel like I've stopped working out and actually started training.